Alright guys, I'm finally gonna make this video. Been actually wanting to do it for a while, but had just a couple more things to do to my bike. But this is my '08 Specialized Epic, and give you a little story. I don't want to make the video too long, but basically what happened is I had this Diamondback hardtail, but I had made some upgrades over the years, and I just figured, man, I would really like a full suspension bike. So what I'm going to do is just buy a full suspension frame, put all my parts on, and I'll just ride it. But once I got the bike, I thought, you know what, I don't want to put the spring forks on here. I want to get me some decent air forks. And I thought, you know, I don't want to put my old rims on. Make a long story short, I just bought everything new, which I really wouldn't recommend for people to do, but I really enjoyed this process. I learned a lot about bike building, and I really like my final project. But to be honest, I did not save money. I couldn't have bought a Specialized Epic, but I could have bought a really nice hardtail, full suspension bike, with mid-range to high-range parts, and probably spent the same amount of money or maybe a little bit less. We're talking about $2,000, anywhere from about $2,200 to $2,400 I got wrapped up in it. So here we are. I'm gonna start giving a tour on the parts. So like I said, this is a Specialized Epic, and this has the brain shock on it. This is the older style, but I talked to Specialized, it's hard to see. But they still service these, and actually right now they, if you send it in for service, they just send you a new one and just pay the service fee, because they got a bunch of them in stock, and they basically don't want to even mess with rebuilding them right now. They just send you a new one, so that's really cool. I guess start at the drivetrain, you know, looking at SRAM X9. It's not labeled SRAM, but you know they make the cranksets for SRAM. But we got X9, and it's got three chain rings on it. Looking at the chain, we got the KMC chain, and it's gold, you know, throw a little bling on the bike. SRAM X9 rear derailleur. Got a Shimano 10-speed cassette. I can't even remember what made me go with Shimano instead of SRAM, but that's what I got. Got Shimano disc brakes, the rotor. I've got 160 in the back, 180 in the front. I've got Avid brakes. Now these are probably my weakest component on the bike, between this and my rims probably. But I mean, they are hydraulic, and I mean, I had mechanical brakes before that. But that's what I got back there. X9 front derailleur. Now I've got a DNM dropper post. Got my switch up here. Go ahead and hit that switch. You know, the dropper post seems really nice. Now let's talk about the rims a little bit. Called Zero Light by Valletta, supposedly designed in Italy. Who knows if these are really good? I mean, it cost me about $200. I mean, definitely not an impressive wheel set, but hopefully this will get me going, and you know, who knows what's gonna happen. Now for the tires, got Continental Trail Kings 2.4 UST tubeless certified, and these things are so big, I'm barely got enough clearance. Got a little more clearance in the back, but in the front, I mean, I think I've got about 2 millimeters. You can't even really see it. What you hear rubbing is actually these little nubs, these little deals here. So I need to ride it a little bit, knock all these off, and it should just have a couple of inches, I mean not inches, but a couple of millimeters of clearance. So I barely got these things on here, but they're on 2.4. And this is just 26 inches. And I did read that someone was able to get 27 5-inch rims on this bike. And clearly they wasn't using tires this big. But they were able to fit them on here. And so since I have 26-inch tires, but I have a really thick tire, I'm probably getting a very similar total wheel size as 27.5. So it's going to be interesting. What else I got? All right, not sure how good we can see this, but got this Planet Bike wireless bike computer, and I just chose it because it shows you a lot of different things on the screen at the same time, including the ambient temperature. I don't know if it's coming out in the video or not, but that's what it is. In the front, I got the RockShox XC32. Like I said, this is air shock. I mean, it just is what it is. It's RockShox. It's fairly decent. It's definitely not near the top. It's 100 millimeter of travel. I mean, this is definitely a cross-country bike. I live in Missouri, around the Kansas City area, and that's all we have here is cross-country. I mean, we've got a little bit of hills, but it's nothing like downhill. So this is definitely a cross-country bike. The Specialized Epic is a race bike. It's a cross-country race bike. And so hopefully I do pretty good with this. I mean, I plan on doing a couple of races, hopefully, but, you know, I'm nothing special. That's all I got to say. Now, you know, I learned a lot with this bike. When I bought the fork, of course, the tube was tall, and I had to figure out and cut the thing and everything, but I really like what I've ended up with. I got carbon fiber spacers here, and on my handlebars, they're made by LWA, and they're carbon fiber, and it's a integrated stem and handlebar. Now, obviously, the negative part is if I want a shorter stem, this whole thing's out the window, but I really like it. Hopefully, this size stem will work for me. But yeah, you know, X9 shifters in the front, and that's basically it. Oh yeah, I'm using a Jaguar shifter cable. So I like how I've got the nice black and red cables going on up front, and that's basically it. The video probably sucks, to be honest. Oh yeah. Now I put flat pedals on this bike. I had already went clipless, but I noticed that I really wasn't as confident as I once was. And also, I want to step it up. This year I want to start doing, you know, I want to learn how to manual, do better wheelies, drop-offs, maybe small jumps. And I want to learn how to do all that stuff on platforms and then go back to clipless. So, you know, that's just what I'm be doing. These are made by, I thought these was Wellgo, but they're not. I don't know what these are. So that's that. It's got the little carbon fiber link here. Now, when I looked up this bike, the only Specialized Epic that had this part was the Epic Marathon. But the Epic Marathon said Marathon right there. So I don't understand this, but, you know, I am really glad to be riding a bike that has the word S-Works on it somewhere. It's pretty neat. But that's about it, guys. That's my whole bike. You know, I did everything. I built everything on it. I mean, I put in the headset. I have to press in my cranks and my bottom bracket. Really didn't press it in. You just screw these in, basically. GXP, I believe, is this standard. You know, but I'm really happy with it overall. Even though I spent a lot of money. Now, granted, the Specialized Marathon cost $4,400 or somewhere in that range in 2008. So I did spend less than that, but that bike is not worth that much money today. But I think I've got a really good bike, you know. Not like I really lost. It's just I had to do it myself and I still paid just as much. That's basically what it amounts to. But I like it. So that's pretty much it for the video. I can't think of anything else. The brain shock. So this part here, that's the brain, and that's the shock. Essentially what the brain shock does, it allows the shock to just about lock itself out when the ground is smooth and you're just pedaling. When you stand up and pedal, this bike's supposed to feel really close to a hardtail. But once you start hitting bumps, the brain will sense the bumps coming from below and then open up a valve and then allow the shock to actually start absorbing the bumps. So I thought that was really neat. There's quite a bit of cost that you're gonna have to deal with running one of these. Probably I'm gonna have to pay it at least yearly. So that's gonna be servicing or getting these things swapped out. I haven't set up my sag on my front or rear shock yet. I plan on doing that today and going for my first ride. As you can see, it's been raining a lot here. We're in the middle of May right now, and it's just been raining a lot, so the trails are closed, and I'm waiting for them to open. But I plan on riding on the street and try to knock these little nubs off my wheels so they'll roll smoothly. So that's it, guys. I ain't gonna hold you no more. There's my bike. I like it. Hopefully I'll get fit, do a lot of riding. But that's all I got.